So in this video, I'll be showing you how to use three features on your data source in Tableau. So this is done before you plot your data visualization. The first feature I'll be showing you is the pivot feature, followed by the split, and followed by the pre-filtering. Now this is done before you plot your visualization at all. I have my Excel sheet uploaded already, and it's called Unrelated Sheets Data Sample. Please ignore the name. Now we have two tables within there, the order details and travel details. So I'm going to drag the order details into the Canva, and that's what we'll be using for our sample. Now we have the pivot feature. If you want to pivot, it's just to interchange multiple columns. You can't use just one single column or a single column for pivot. So now we have two columns here, order ID and order date, which I'll be using for my illustration. Now you want to interchange it. You want this to appear on the first one and this on the second one. That's the essence of the pivot feature. So when you look in here, when you select the column, you look in here, you see the pivot feature is grayed out because you need to select multiple fields. So I'm going to hold down my shift and select the other one. In case you want to use share columns that are not sequential, do not follow each other, you press on your command or your control key if you're using Windows and you select. Now let's use this dispatch dates for this illustration. Now you can click on any of them and you see the pivot feature highlighted. So once I click on this, it helps me interchange. You can see the columns are no more appearing here. You go to the last part of the table and you see that we have the pivots names, the pivots field names and values. Now these are the names which is going to use, and these are the values. The first one is dispatch date. You can see the value here and the order ID. So it continues like that to interchange both the columns of the rows for both columns, and interchanges the values as well. You can rename the column to whatever you want. Just right click on it, you see the option and you say rename, then you can put in your preferred name just to make it more descriptive. Now I'm going to undo this to show you the split function. So it's similar to what we have in Excel. Split function is just you want to split a particular column into multiple columns based on a separator. And this order ID will be a good example to really understand what it entails. Now, so the order ID has some hyphen in there, and I want to separate it based on that. I want to extract the year. You can see we have 2020, 2023, and we have all the numbers there. But you can see the separator, and this is just what I need. Now I'm going to click on this drop down arrow and I see the split option. You see the custom split. Now the difference between the two is that if you pick split, which is not the custom split, you can see we still have the order ID, but you go to the end of the table, you see two other columns that has been created. The split function basically split it on its own without you really defining the criteria in which you want to split it. You know, it split it into three different columns, and of course you can rename the column by either clicking on this drop down arrow or right clicking and give it a suitable name. Now let's undo this and see if we can split a random column and see what comes out without a separator. You're just using the split function. This has a separator in there. Let's look at this. Trust me, it's going to split on space because space is also a character. But let's just see what it comes out with. Split, it goes to the end. You can see that splitted based on space. But if it's just a single column, for example, just like the country, let's see what's going to happen when we use the split function. So it has automatically directed me to the split, custom split, because there is no separator in it. So now let's go down to the custom split. Now let's use a column that has separator in there. Now, so this is the drop down menu. We click the custom split. It gives me a box for me to indicate on what separator I want to split it on. So I put the hyphen separator, and you can see another menu split off. Is it from the first, the last, or whole? Now let's explore each of them. And this is also telling me, so how many columns do I want to split this particular column into. So I picked the first option, so that means it's going to start from the first and not behind. Now I'm going to say split from the beginning of that column and into just one column. Let's see what the result is. You can see just the beginning from the end, from the beginning of the column, and just has just one column, and it ignored all this because I do not need it. But in case I need the year, so what do? Let me undo this. And so it's going to tell me to select. I'm going to start. I can start from the beginning, I can start from the end, but for the purpose of illustration, let's start from the last. And I'm going to split into 2 columns because I need it. I don't need the end of it. Voila, this is what we have. Interestingly, it's not. Let's just do that again. Don't know why it's. Oh, I didn't indicate the column. Sorry, the separator. Now from the last, always indicate the separator, else you do not have results. So splitting from the last. Okay. You can see we do not have ES in there because it started from the last. So, but I have my other ID. I can actually delete this column if I do not want it. It goes off, but you can undo as well. Undo. We're back to basics. So let's try the last one for the split one, which is I want whole. So you can see whole means everything similar to the normal split. I gave it a separator. This is grayed out. I'm splitting everything. Now I have my ES, I have 2023, I have this. Let me see what's going to happen because France, splitting these do not have any indicator in there. So let's just leave it. That brings us to the end of the custom split and the split, which is quite useful in case you just need this here before you start working on your data. Now let's move on to the pre-filtering. Pre-filtering is basically you filter before you start using your data source. Instead of waiting to plot your visualizations here and start adding filters, you just want the data source just have a basic. You don't want to load everything. So you can see this section here. You see add. So it's going to be where you're going to add it. It brings all the field names and the data you basically need for your visualization for the entire project is a particular region. Now, we just want to deal with the northern region. We have no business with the central and the southern region. We do not need the data. Now, you just have to click on exclude or include. But if you want it northern, you include. So we don't need to exclude it. And okay, so it keeps north and you have okay in here. So you can see only northern region is in our data source. And so whatever you do, whatever visualization you plot, it's just going to have the northern region in there, as you can see. So that brings us to the 3 features which are quite useful, especially when you want to improve performance. You want to make your work tidy before you start venturing into creating a visualization. Thanks for watching.